to us being live on KMOX, we are available to you on our video streams as well. So if you are watching, we're already seeing those numbers go up. Whether you're listening or watching, we're here to talk Cardinals baseball with you. Multiple ways to get connected with the program. You can call or text 314-436-7900. That's 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or if you are watching on the video stream, you can leave a comment and we'll take a look at those comments as we go along through the course of the night. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about in this game. A lot to talk about in the 10th inning specifically, and some decisions that were made and some things that ended up happening. I think we can all agree that Brendan Donovan made a mistake. We don't say that very often. There are very few people in Major League Baseball that play the game kind of the right way, more so than a Brendan Donovan, but not everybody's perfect. He absolutely made a mistake going home. He was playing back. If they're playing in on the infield in that situation, it's a different case, but he had so far to charge that ball. There was never a chance he was going to get the runner out at home. So that was one thing that happened there in the 10th inning that made an impact on the game. Nolan Arenado bobbled a ball where they could have gotten the lead runner on the bunt attempt. And Arenado picked it up and he looked over to third. And as he was going to throw to third, he bobbled. And once that bobble occurred, he didn't have the play at third anymore, so he had to go get the out at first. It was good that he got the out at first for sure, but that ends up being a big moment in this game with that runner eventually coming home to score. I thought it was an interesting decision that Oliver Marmol made to go ahead and hit Mason Wynn at the end of the game in that final at bat where he's really been struggling. And if you heard Oliver Marmol talk about it when he ran his post-game show during the network post, the reasons to hit Mason Wynn in that situation are good reasons. Ollie's going to tell you, he wants to make sure that you don't remove Wynn from the shortstop spot. He wants to show faith in a young guy, a guy who was just coming in Wynn's last at bat. Before that, he'd hit the ball 108 miles per hour. It was one of the best at bats that Wynn had seen all season long. So all those are reasons to stick with Wynn. I would have probably gone, if I'm making that decision in that moment, I'm probably going with Nolan Gorman. I feel like Gorman gives you a better chance to score a run in that situation. And I know you get put into a tough situation after that, because if you've lifted Wynn, you're moving Donovan over to shortstop, and he's not a guy that you really want to play at shortstop all that often. But I would rather be playing in the 11th inning with Donovan at shortstop than I would the game ending in the 10th losing. So again, I think Ollie's reasons are valid. I see the path that he went down to make that decision. If I'm making that decision, I think I go with Nolan Gorman because that gives me the better chance to possibly win that game. It's a lefty that you can bring off the bench against a young guy. So yeah, this is one of those games where a lot happened and there is a lot to talk about, and would love to have the conversation with you. Do of course want to remind you that our show, it is being presented by Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Let's get our first phone call of the show. Tate has given us a call. Hey Tate, you're on the Extra Innings Show. All right, Tate. Yeah, can't win them all. You got it right. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the phone call. Again, if you want to chime in, you can do so at 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. If you want to tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air. And again, those of you who are watching the show via the stream, you can just leave a comment, and we'll certainly get to those comments as well as we go through the course of the program. A text message from the 618 says, Arenado owns this loss. running into an out at second, not guarding the line on at third with 2 outs, bobbles a ball on a crucial play and flies out twice with runners in scoring position. Now, I should like I'm not trying to call out the texter here. I can click on like people's names and see their text history. This is a guy who or a guy or gal who tends to just send in text messages about Arenado. So this is an Arenado hater that we're dealing with here for sure on this one. So, but that being said, let's go kind of bit by bit on what the texter mentions. The running into an out at second, I actually didn't have a problem with that because I thought they were being aggressive on the bases right there. And when you make a mistake or when you have an out on an aggressive play, that's not an area that I get upset about. Be aggressive. Go if you're too aggressive at some point, well, that's going to be something that's pretty obvious. But they were able to get the runner over to third in that situation. Then they came back to second, and that's when Arenado was out. I didn't have a problem with that. There was an out there, but I thought he was being aggressive. So I'm pretty good with what he did there. The bobble is a key play. I don't think that's a play that you expect somebody to make. He was pretty upset with himself in that situation. As far as, flying out twice with runners in scoring position, are we really going to play this game? Cardinals went 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They left 12 on base. Arenado is, hardly the only player to be in that category. So Arenado in this game left 3 runners on. Mason Wynn left 6 on. So Mason Wynn left twice as many on. And again, I'm not trying to say we're blaming the loss on Mason Wynn, but if you're going to send in a text message saying Nolan Arenado owns this loss because he flied out twice with runners in scoring position, well, where's Mason Wynn in your consideration there? Where's Wilson Contreras, who left 2 on, going 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts? Lucan Baker left 2 on. Ivan Herrera went 0 for 3 with a strikeout, left 2 on, made a mistake behind the plate. Pedro Pajes, he got 2 at bats, he left 2 runners. Like what the point? I'm not trying to like go down through the box score and tell you who did not play well today. I don't think it's fair to sit here and say this game is on Arenado. And I understand you listed more things than just the flyout. So maybe I'm taking it a little bit too far. Arenado clearly has had a good start to the season. Dude, 6 for 15. He's hitting 4 home runs this year. He's got an OPS at over 1,200. He has been one of the most consistent guys for the first 4 games of the season, outside of really Lars Nootbaar, who continues to just be really, really good. That's not the guy I'm gonna go after this one. Just not. So the Cardinals do end up losing today in 10 innings to the Angels by a 5-4 score. If you want to chime in, you can do so by calling or texting 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. You can also tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. And if you are watching the video stream, we welcome your comments, and we'll be back coming up in just a moment or so as we roll on with the Extra Innings Show right here on KMOX. We are back as we roll on right here on KMOX with the Extra Innings Show. If you want to join the program, you can do so by calling, texting, or tweeting. If you call or text, the phone number is 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. If you tweet at me, you do that at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or you can just leave a message on the video stream, and we can get to that. So this is interesting because we have two messages that are kind of against each other. So it creates a pretty interesting conversation. So a text message from the 256 says, unless Ivan Herrera got hurt, Oliver Marmol took him out way too early. He was due up fifth in the bottom of the seventh. Wait one more inning and then decide. Whereas Henry, he leaves a comment on our stream that says, Ivan had a horrid game, and I think he needs to be removed. Forgetting the count in a major league game is just inexcusable. So one comment from a listener saying Herrera needs to stay in longer. Another one saying that Herrera shouldn't be in there at all. Ali talked about this a little bit in his post-game press conference. He gave the reasoning for why he took Herrera out at the situation that he did, because he wasn't due up for another couple innings, so it was it's weighing the defensive impact of a catcher in a tight game versus one more at bat. Now, Ali said if they're tied or if they're winning, or if they're losing, I should say, Herrera doesn't come out. Herrera comes out of the game because it's a one-run game, and a bunch of the guys who are coming up for the Angels are players who can steal bags. And Herrera really has not yet shown the ability to throw out a runner. So that's why they went with Pages in that place. I understand the frustration of seeing Pages at the plate in a game that's where it was at that moment. I also understand the frustration of watching a catcher give up a stolen base because he doesn't know what the count is. Now, there was some speculation on social media that maybe when Pages came out, it was connected to that play. It was not. Ali made it very clear that that had nothing to do with it. But Herrera is still very much a work in progress when it comes to his defensive ability. He's working very hard. When I say he's a work in progress, that doesn't mean it's not good. I mean, he's working really, really hard. He's better this year than he was last year. His throwing arm is clearly better this year than it was last year. But it's still a process for him. And in tight games that they're winning, they're going to substitute out Herrera. And if you can, I think right now where they're at, they feel like if they can get 2 extra innings of Herrera or Pages behind the plate in a one-run game that they're winning, they're going to do that. Didn't work out today. The Angels would eventually tie the game up, and then all of a sudden you're stuck with Herrera out of the lineup, and it looks like a bad decision at that moment because one of your best bats is out of the lineup. So I understand that. So it's a darned if you do, darned if you don't. 100% darned if you do, darned if you don't. When it comes to all that. Also, Henry said, why wasn't the defense in double play depth with 1 out when JoJo got the ground ball? They were, if that's if you're talking about the Brendan Donovan play where he came home, that was the problem. They were in double play depth. They were playing back for the double play. And because that was a softly hit ball, Donovan had to charge. And when he charged, it took too long for him to get the ball. And he didn't have time to get the out at home, yet he still went home. If they're playing in, he makes that play. But because they were back at double play depth, that's why they weren't able to make that play. And because it was hit so softly, there was no chance that they were going to be able to get the double play. All right, let's do we have Henry who's been leaving the comments on the phone? Let's grab Henry. He's given us a call. Hey Henry, I just read a couple of your comments, but welcome on to the program. All right, Henry. Appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much. And for those of you who do not know the total context on the attendance part of that, tonight's attendance was listed at 21,206 folks. That is significantly the smallest crowd in ballpark history when a full capacity has been allowed. So that doesn't include games during COVID and games coming out of COVID with limited attendance. When they're allowed to sell every single ticket in the ballpark, the 21,206 folks is the lowest number. To me, like, does it look bad? Sure, it looks bad. It's the lowest number in the history of the ballpark, and we're not trying to run away from that. I would say that keep winning games, and that's going to fix itself. Be a really fun, entertaining brand of baseball, and that's going to fix itself. And that's what they have been for the most part through the first 4 games of the season. And they lose today, but there were still some very entertaining things that end up happening in this game for sure. And just keep winning, and people are going to start showing up. Miserable night. It was chilly out there. It was more than chilly. It was cold out there. It was so you're trying to give people reasons to go. I think the Cardinals have done a great job with kind of reimagining the game day presentation. So if you haven't gone out to a game yet this year, would encourage you to do so. It feels a little bit different in some of the things that they're doing. But yeah, there weren't very many people in the stands tonight. There's no way to run away from that for sure. Ball game text in. He says, no glasses raised or caps tipped tonight. Had we got the W, it would have been number 21 and number 88. So what, Newtbar? I'm Maton and Newtbar, isn't that right? Anyways, Newtbar for going deep into counts and giving Michaelis a much needed early lead so he can pitch more comfortably. Maton for coming in a dominating game by striking out 3 of their best hitters when the game was about to turn. He gave them a chance to swing back the momentum. Go get them tomorrow. First off, I am so bad when it comes to what numbers players wear. I am terrible at it. If you want to make me look really dumb, ask me what number somebody wears, and there's a pretty good chance that I don't know. I actually happen to know 21 and 88 on that one. So, and then he went on to mention the who they were in that. But that's an admission of guilt right there for me. I am terrible at knowing who wears what number. It's not the way my brain works for whatever reason. Yeah, this is a game that if the Cardinals win, we're probably spending a little bit more time talking about Phil Maton. Holy moly, he was awesome. He was fantastic, spectacular. The 3 up, 3 down, all on strikeouts. That was awesome. That was great to see. He has been in a very short amount of time. He has emerged as a big time piece in the Cardinals bullpen. And if the Cardinals have a good season this year, he's going to be a big part of winning a whole bunch of games. Another text message, this one coming from the 256, says, when are people going to stop making excuses for Marmol? Not another Major League Baseball team would even consider him for their manager. Yeah, they would. Maybe look, there's no guarantee for Oliver Marmol that he is going to be the Cardinals manager next year. The transition goes into Chaim Bloom and everything. There's nothing guaranteed, but I'm pretty sure that if something happens and at some point in time, he's not the Cardinals manager, it's not going to be an immediate thing, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to have other opportunities. He is well respected throughout the world of baseball. And I don't think I was making it on the Gorman thing. I don't think I was making excuses for him. I disagreed with the man on the decision he made. If I'm managing this game tonight, Mason Wynn's not hitting in that spot. Nolan Gorman is. I will acknowledge the reasons that Ali gave for hitting Mason Wynn in that spot and acknowledge the fact that they are legitimate reasons. And that's the thing with Ali. Even when I disagree with him, and I don't always agree with every move he makes, even when I disagree with him, he has logical reasons for what he wants to do in those spots. Not wanting to be stuck with Wynn out of the shortstop position. My take on that is go get to the 11th and figure it out. I'd rather be, like I said earlier, I'd rather be playing in the 11th than losing in the 10th. And you figure that out then. But I understand that part of it. I think there is something powerful as well when it comes to young players in showing them you believe in them, even if they don't come through. I'm going to mess this up. I just am. maybe next. It came. I think it originated from a Bernie Miklasz thing. So maybe I'll talk to him about it on one of our Redbird Rush Hours or something. So there's gonna be people who are listening to this and know exactly what I'm talking about. But definitely there was a point in time where Tony La Russa allowed Yadier Molina to go hit for himself. And it wasn't, and it was, the idea was this is to show confidence in this guy for something later on in the year. We'll talk more about, but again, that's something that we would have seen Tony La Russa do at times to show a young player that they have confidence in them, even if it's not the best move in that spot. What's on Deck is presented by Chesterfield Vincent Deck. The sign you have the very best. These two teams back at tomorrow, game number 2 of the series. It is going to be on the mound for the Cardinals, Matthew Liberatore. 6:45 first pitch, 5:50 for pregame coverage tomorrow here on KMOX.